Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Pawns on the Duck podcast. My name is Caleb Shoemake.
I'm Jaxon Hasty.
My name's Landen Roop.
And we all know that there was a football game this last Saturday, so I would like for all of us to have a moment of silence real quick for what occurred on that day.
Let go. Hey, okay, I know I'm here to stay. Counting on my wins, so I can't play it safe. Play it safe, go get fast, get you out the way. Go hard, it's the only way to play. Let me say, I'm a trendsetter, I'm a go-getter, I'm a trendsetter.
Now that we are on to the main portion of the podcast, we all know the situation that happened yesterday of the game. The score of that game was
30-23, Missouri.
And I think we can all agree that this game should have definitely had a much different outcome than what it did.
I mean, we literally were handed that football game on a silver platter, and Jaxon Arnold took the platter, found one of our players, Deion Burke specifically, and just shoved it straight in his face and said, we're just gonna throw it away. Like,
we had a lot of sooner magic that happened that game. A lot of things that should have ended the game. We had basically two chances in that game that we should have won. I mean, whenever our only receiving touchdown of that game was to Jaxon Arnold, I think that is definitely a switch up that none of us really expected. I mean, I'm glad we scored, don't get me wrong.
oh yeah.
But I just can't get over the fact that that is how we lost that game. Not Jaxon Arnold scoring that touchdown, but in the fact that everything went wrong in that game. Not a single thing. When things did go right, 4 things happened that were terrible. We can never catch back up.
And 23 points isn't bad for us. Like, you can't complain about 23 points with this offense so far this year. It's just it kind of fell apart towards the end.
And you also have to think about it, like, we really scored 16. So, like, because our defense, of course, stepped up, but we're going to keep on that offense, so if you want to keep going.
Yeah, so some of the stats that we have from this game is we have Jaxon Arnold. He went 15 for 24 for 75 yards. Not terrible. Didn't throw the ball. He threw the ball a decent amount, but at the same time, he didn't. Only threw it for 75 yards. But he was our highest leading rusher by almost double digits. He had 17 rushing attempts for 45 yards. He fumbled the ball 3 times, and he lost it twice. I don't know how he didn't lose it that third time, but
Beats us.
When he just dropped it randomly, and then he picked it right back up.
I don't.
Not only was
I guess he did gain. Didn't he gain like another yard off of that? So I mean, I guess it worked out.
He
did it just kind of fall right on top of that? I don't remember.
Yeah, he just fell right on top of it.
Okay,
It's
I can't remember.
Not only was he seeing ghosts
but also ghosts were stripping the ball out.
I was definitely
pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, since we are on the topic of offense, I mean, I was very much teary-eyed pretty much that whole time during that game when we were on offense. It just hurt me watching this game, just knowing that we finally had some pieces that we could use and we didn't use it. I don't have it pulled up, but I know that like Farouk only had two receptions. I think he got thrown the ball like 4 times.
And Burks had 5 receptions.
And 3 of them were passes to Burks that almost could have put him in the hospital.
And probably one
of them definitely did. Mm-hmm. That very end one, which we can also bring up, is that how was that not a targeting call?
If you want to go ahead and
pull up that last one there.
It should be that. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll just watch it.
We can all just watch it and just
right there, helmet to helmet.
I think every single one of us at home here could make that call ourselves.
I don't understand how they said that he was a. What do you say? He wasn't a.
They
defenseless?
said he was a defenseless.
He was not a.
Or
He was not
player.
a defenseless player there, but I don't understand how you can call that.
It's just helmet to helmet. It's helmet to helmet.
I mean, like what? So if he was defenseless and he got hit in the head right there, you wouldn't have called it.
I mean, he was literally laying on the ground for cold 3 minutes.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
he was
get
not
that.
moving.
I mean, I get the Missouri. There's another Missouri player that got injured as well. But I mean, we were all wondering, does he have all his teeth?
Does he have brain cells?
Did a couple of brain cells or maybe a piece of the brain come out the ear on that? Like maybe there's something on the ground. How's the helmet still on? I don't know. Good job for them being able to have the support for that.
Technology and all
I
that.
know from whenever I played, helmets did not stay on that well.
It didn't show it there, but if you saw him after he stood up, and he could not walk. He had to help. He had to get help, and he was just wobbling so much.
He couldn't put one foot in front of the other,
Yeah.
and so it was kind of disturbing watching that. He was like walking kind of like
He was like
a
walking
penguin.
bow-legged almost. Like yeah. And I definitely hate seeing that, but I think the main thing I hate is that we just got him back. We just got him back, and then I'm not saying that Jaxon Arnold was intentionally doing it, but the only time he actually made a good ball where the receiver could most likely catch it was on a slant on the inside, where then he was almost going to get killed every single time. He got killed twice. One time was a clean hit. He got hit. He almost did like a full backflip almost.
Oh, yeah.
But then he got right back up like it was nothing. On that one, like on the first one, I wouldn't have gone up.
yeah.
But he got up, as he should. But on that last one, I don't blame him for not getting up because I don't think he could. I'm pretty sure he was asleep.
But I think really Arnold completed that, and I think Burks ran for 5 or 6 more yards, and then he got hit by another guy, and then
Like
safety.
if we
Boom.
accounted for how many yards he passed for just from it going to the receiver's hand, he probably threw for negative passing yards because he threw it behind the line of scrimmage. He completed 15 passes. Probably a good 6 or 7 of those were behind the line of scrimmage that then just somehow got upfield for 7-8 yards.
Thanks to our great new wide receivers that just came back.
Yeah.
And some our running backs, like
But-
Xavier Robinson.
Xavier Robinson, we have some of his stats here. He had 9 carries for 56 yards. He averaged 6.2 yards a carry. And what you would say probably 6 or 7 of those rushing attempts came in almost the fourth quarter. They finally started giving him the ball. He was in there a lot.
He was, but it's
But
just
they were running a 2-man back, but then they were only giving it to Tatum, or they were just winging him out and then having Arnold throw it. Run it. He didn't throw the ball. Run the ball.
It was just very angering, watching Xavier Robinson put up I don't know how many yards he exactly had in that fourth quarter, but he was getting. I mean, he was so efficient though, because if you look, his longest rush was 10 yards, and so he had rushes of 8 yards, 7 yards, and then that final 10 minutes in the fourth quarter, he was pushing us down the field, and we just decided to go away from it, and it just didn't make sense.
It just didn't make sense. I don't understand why we kept going away from what was working. I mean, I get at this point, we had just fumbled that ball. We tied the game, but then we got the ball back. We just fumbled the ball. Arnold's third one of the game, and it was that scoop and score. So then we have, how long do we have? We had about a minute. It was 50 seconds, I think.
After our scoop score?
So no, after their scoop and score.
Yeah.
So then we had a drive, so then we could just try and get into field goal range, or we needed to score, of course, but just get down there to get something going. And we were running the football, but as you saw, it was working. Which it really shouldn't have. But it was, because they were expecting us to throw it. But if any team is smart, they know we can't throw the ball, especially with the O-line that we have.
I do want to talk about there with the O-line is our O-line had this was their best pass blocking game of the year.
Because he only got sacked how many times? 3?
3 times.
3 times.
Huge improvement from past games,
Yes.
which is what you want to see, even though it hasn't gone as we want to. A lot of these guys I feel like are going to return next year, especially the younger guys, of course. And even if we see improvement these last 2 games, even if it's not the best, it's always good for next year when they develop over the summer and just get stronger.
Yeah.
Especially with the next 2 games that we have coming up.
So we got Alabama and then
Alabama
LSU.
and LSU. When's our bye week? Is
This next week.
Next week? Okay. So we got 2 weeks to prepare for home against Alabama.
And our run blocking.
You would say that would be enough time, but I don't think it's going to be. But what were we saying?
It's hard to decipher obviously they're going to work their butt off, and as if you saw in one of the interviews, I don't have a clip that I would have pulled up here, but Arnold got interviewed and he was like, we just need to do more of the turnover drills, like getting hit by the blasters and getting ball punched by our teammates. And
another thing I'd say that he could work on is maybe looking downfield at guys that you have wide open, aka Deion Burks. He missed him probably 3 or 4 times. If you open up that first link, so you can see here that Deion Burks at this point came up to Jaxon Arnold and was talking to him.
This is right after the play that we're mentioning.
So in this play, what had happened is that Jaxon Arnold did I think it was a 3-step drop. And his first read is everyone's kind of coming along the left side. I think he had trips on the left, or it might have been doubles. I think it was double set on both sides. He had a drag coming. He had a go route, and then he had a post by Deion Burks to get to the opposite side corner of the end zone. And it looked like their team was running a form of like cover 2 drop. So basically that back right corner where Deion was going to be wide open.
And it was.
No one was within, I'd say, about 10 to 15 yards. They had no idea he was back there. But as soon as Jaxon Arnold got to his 3-step drop, he didn't even give a hitch before he looked down at the ground to try to start running. I think he gave one of his reads a look and saw it wasn't open, and he just guessed that everything else was not open. So then he immediately, there's a clip. We don't have the clip. I couldn't find it. But his head's looking up at his read, and you just see it drop straight down to the ground to where their hole was. But then he got tackled.
Yeah,
I think he got sacked. I can't remember, or maybe he gained out 1 yard.
I think he lost a yard, but
Yeah.
But that just, I'm glad that they're able to talk about it. I'm glad that he went up and talked to him about it. But I mean, again, we didn't know exactly what they're saying. We don't know what Jaxon Arnold actually saw. There could be different things that we saw that was totally different. But I mean, from the aerial video that I saw of what had happened, I don't understand why he didn't throw it.
Burks was pretty peed off after
He
that
was.
play.
You could see. I don't think he punched the ground, but I mean, he was
throwing air punches.
He was at least throwing some haymakers in the sky.
And so, I mean, honestly, as Burks, first game back, of course, you're going to want the football. You've been craving the thing. You've been going at it in practice. And now is your time to show, like, again, why you are our leading receiver for 8 weeks of the season, even though he was out for half of it.
I mean, again, he had the most receptions through 3 games for all OU receivers all time, which is saying a lot, saying we also don't have a deep wide receiver room right now, but also it was his favorite target.
Yeah, Arnold, I mean, I think Arnold just had to settle in for the first time, like getting, obviously practice with these guys, but he's been working with Brennan Thompson, Jacob Jordan, J.J. Hester. Didn't see much. We saw J.J. Hester on some plays, but I don't think he really.
I think he got like 2 or 3 targets, I think, and one of them was a deep ball that wasn't really his fault. It was kind of like a back shoulder type of go route, just to kind of throw the ball up there to see if he can get the ball. Yeah. And I don't think he even turned around in time. That's just timing issue. But the other guy that we thought we were going to see a decent amount of, that we really didn't, other than from the pass that we had from our man Luke Elzinga for 1 for 43 yards, is Bauer Sharp. He had 1 catch. At that point, he had 1 catch for 43 yards. It was a 43-yard gain. At the end of the game, he had 5 receptions for 43 yards.
And see, that's just embarrassing because that says something about our play calling. If our special teams that one special teams play garnered more passing offense than the entire rest of the game almost. Arnold had 76 passing yards, and then our punter has 43.
He had more at the end of at halftime. He had more than Arnold did. Arnold only had like
36.
It was something
36
like that.
passing yards.
And I just think, I mean, great play call. Was not expecting it at all.
Yeah.
I'm glad it worked, but it was just not.
He almost dropped it too. I mean, it was obviously it's a punter, so you're not going to get the best
ball. But I mean, it was there.
He still caught it, so we can't be mad.
I feel bad because I mean there was so much talk about Bauer coming into this year about his pass blocking and his run blocking and how good he is. And like, yes, he's been good, but like each game, it's always been he's good at one and he's absolutely terrible at the other. It has been just kind of throwing me off of just how anticlimactic it has been watching him not even just go out for receptions, but just blocking. And then also, if you bring up the middle one, you can see that for some reason we're trying to run a read option, jet option type of thing with Bauer Sharp, who is not the fastest guy that we know.
We're the most
Can you pause
athletic.
that right there? Can you pause or go back like a couple seconds and just pause it like before it snapped? Dion Burks, Brennan Thompson, and JJ Hester are on the field. And out of all the people on the field that we run a wide receiver sweep with is Bauer Sharp.
And I definitely understand. We were later to figure out that it was supposed to be a QB power read. So he technically wasn't supposed to hand it off, but you can. It's kind of to just...
Because, if you want to roll it real quick.
It's supposed to get the defense on their toes.
I mean, if he kept it, he would have got. It would have been better. But also, there was guy right there.
Yeah, if played a little again. Sorry, number 30, the one that makes the tackle on Bauer Sharp, would have had Arnold like boxed if Arnold would have ran.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I understand that, but also, I mean, Arnold has a better chance of at least diving down and getting underneath it to at least maybe get to the line of scrimmage. Where I mean, as with Bauer
We had no
Sharp,
chance.
he probably wasn't even thinking that he was going to get the ball because in practice they had probably always pulled it and ran it up. That's probably what they had been working on the whole time. Because I don't know why, to me, whenever he was running and how he was just running straight this way and not even trying to get upfield, it looked like he didn't even know he had the ball at first. It looked like he was just running. He was like, oh, I don't have it. And then he looked down and he was like, oh, it's in my arms. So then he tried to turn around, and watching a tight end trying to turn around and cut back upfield, it hurts my knees. Like
Unless
I just...
you're Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers is the only guy I know that could just turn around and just go upfield like that, and that's because he's from Georgia. I mean, I was surprised whenever I saw Bauer decide to come here because, I mean, whenever we have tight ends here, we see more of a Mark Andrews. We see, or like, I guess you could say Blake Bell, more of a bigger, stockier type of guy, and whenever we have a little, not little, I mean, he's tall, but he's skinnier than what we are normalized in for a tight end.
Yeah,
So,
like
I mean,
Braden Willis.
So, like, to me, whenever I see how the blocking has been for him, I'm not super surprised, but it's just the fact that they brought him in for that specific reason, and I just haven't really seen it as how they had been portraying it.
Yeah, the thing about Bauer Sharp is obviously he used to be a quarterback. I don't know if you guys knew that.
I did
actually.
not.
But before he transferred here to OU, he played at Southeastern, I think it was Southeastern Louisiana, I believe, or Southwestern
For who?
Louisiana. Bauer Sharp.
Yeah.
And he was recruited as a quarterback. Mm-hmm. And basically he went through the like entire process of what they do for quarterbacks there at Southeastern Louisiana. And they were like, no, we're moving you to wide receiver. So he goes to wide receiver, and then he puts I think he put some muscle on. And obviously a musclier tight end or musclier wide receiver, they were like, okay, we're throwing you at tight end now. So his last season there before he came here, they made him his full tight end the entire year. And that's why you see like in some of our trick plays is like we're trying that. Like when I initially saw that play, I thought we were going to run a trick play because Bauer Sharp used to play quarterback. Mm-hmm. He can throw the football.
That didn't happen.
But again, 7-yard loss, pretty bad play call. But yeah, Bauer Sharp, just he's not it.
There's kind of two other things I wanted to point out. Is one thing is kind of with the play calling. I mean, Joe John Finley, he'd been decent in his first two games, but I mean, it just seems like with how our playbook has already been orchestrated, it just doesn't seem like we have anything to go off of. It just seems like we have the same 2 or 3 concepts, and we just throw other people in it. Like it seems like we could be running that with Dion, but we're like, everyone's going to expect it, so let's run it with our tight end. And I'm just like, I mean, like, again, it goes back to the point, if we had Brock Bowers, maybe that would work, but I just don't see it. And the other thing that I want to bring up is one of the guys that we had been talking about, that we talked about on, is Jacob Jordan.
Yes.
He's been one of our more consistent guys to catch the ball, to go out there and just get open. I mean, it's exactly what Drake Stoops did whenever he was here. I mean, he just got open and just sat down, sometimes ran it. But he had been our more consistent guy whenever everyone was gone. And now that whenever everyone came back, Brennan Thompson was now back to the third like he was. But what we kind of all specified a little bit is that we believed that he should have had a little more snaps than what he did. He had.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't play that much, and he had one target who he almost caught it. Probably should have caught it, but I just feel like he should have played more than Brennan Thompson did. I mean, nothing against Brennan Thompson, but to me, I just feel like if we have Farouk, who was our deep threat, and then we have Burks, who can just go on drags, can kind of just get open and just get upfield real quickly, and then we have Jacob Jordan, who can just sit down somewhere and just get us those 4 or 5 yards.
You want to know the snap counts?
Let's hear it.
Brennan Thompson played 54 snaps. And can you guess how many Jacob Jordan had?
Did he have
4?
Did he have like one?
One.
And it was
One.
where he, and they
One, and
they
he
passed
got
him.
the ball.
And he got the ball
passed to him.
passed to him.
He did end up dropping it, but it was just good play by the defense.
Yeah.
Not much you can do there. Good pass and it's a good catch. All you can do.
That I didn't know that it was. I thought he played a couple more,
I definitely thought he played more,
but that's insane. That's you got to get him the ball more. I mean, obviously, past couple of games, he's had like I don't know how many. He's had a decent amount of yards and a decent amount of receptions, and we've been able to move the football with him.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to get it to our playmakers.
I agree.
All right, now that we're done with the offense, we're going to take a little break from the game and do some trivia just to cool us down a little bit.
Oh Lord!
And we're going to
We
do
better mess it
unscramble
up.
the name.
I think someone
like to
might
go to
mess
the
it up
next
this
slide.
time. I think he might have taken some notes.
All right, here's the first one.
Samaje Perine.
Yep, correct.
Dude, I had a stroke trying to read that. Oh my goodness!
All right, if you want to go to the next one.
Kyson Witherspoon.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna do it. Yeah, we're together on this.
Oh,
yeah,
you are?
they're on
Okay.
the same team.
It's all as one. It's all
They're
as
on the
one.
same
My bad.
team.
My bad. Okay. So, oh my. I think the first name is Chaz, but that could be wrong.
It's a
And if
football
you-
player.
It's a football player. Okay.
Yeah.
If anybody at home would like to put in the comments like something that
They're definitely
you
going
think-
to call out that we are not the best at this. There's probably people who got this immediately, and I am still trying to figure out the first name.
But you can go ahead and guess. Zach Schmidt. Okay.
Zach Schmidt.
Man,
Okay, if you want to go to the next one.
tell me why I just could not. Oh my Lord.
Oh my goodness.
We might get
Start off a little easy, now it's
Hold
a little
on,
harder.
hold on.
we might get canceled.
No, Buddy Hield.
Yep. Yep.
Wow,
That's insane.
That looked a lot worse than.
Samuel, I don't even know how to say his last name, but it is Samuel Omosigo.
Omosigo, yeah.
Omosigo.
Almost, dude, I ain't doing nothing in this.
Well, good job,
this is-
team. They're a team now.
This is definitely why I do not do good in any of my exams.
Mom, I swear I do more things than just look at random football players. Please don't hurt me.
I guess I need to do more of what you do.
All right, now
Not
we'll
do
go back
homework.
to the game where we'll talk about the defense now. They started off great, only holding them to 3 points during the first half and 10 through 3 quarters. And they did a great job containing the screens during the play and controlling Luther Burden for the most part. There was a great play by Billy Bowman in the first half that gave us momentum, I would say, in the game. You know, get us offense back on the field in good field position. If you want to pull up that first one, it will show us the play. Whereas he's safety right here, and he sees him immediately go out, and he just hits him hard, and then you can see some smack talking a little bit. Everybody's hype
You could see that he readed that play like
instantly.
immediately. Like as soon as he saw,
him and Stutzman.
they just knew exactly what it was. I mean, of course, Stutzman. I mean,
I mean,
not
if you
the
wanna
fastest guy, but I mean, he almost got out there.
If you want to play it again, when they get out there, if Billy doesn't get him, Stutzman has him easily. I mean, they're both right there in
I
sync.
feel like if Billy would have got stepped up just a little bit more, Stutzman wouldn't have been able to get there in time. I feel like they would have got it. He wouldn't have been able to stop him. Not for it to be a touchdown or anything, but I feel like he would have been able to reach across.
Yeah.
But because Billy came down and just led with his shoulder, perfectly legal tackle, unlike we saw what they did at the very end of the game where our dude literally died. But this was a legal tackle,
Yeah.
and it definitely worked.
100%.
Theirs worked if they were trying to kill him. So
yeah.
it seemed like that's
Shoot.
what they were trying to go for. So
And then Billy Bowman, just another great play here. He had a scoop and score where Sammy Omosigo forced it out.
hey,
Our
You
favorite
notice he
guy.
just picked it up. He always has an eye for the ball. He knows where the ball is all the time. There's some guys on the defense, they might not know where the ball is all the time, but Billy, you can always trust him to know where the ball is.
I think it was crazy. It wasn't even a hand that got it. It was someone's knee.
Yeah,
Someone's
it
knee
was Samuel
choked it out.
Osamigo's knee. Either way, he still forced it. And
I'm
it's
glad,
still
that,
on
I'm
the
glad that
stats.
still counts.
Yeah.
And another thing related to Billy Bowman, he has 4 defensive touchdowns since 2023. He's tied first with somebody else. Don't remember. But that 4 touchdowns, I think obviously 3 pick sixes. He had Iowa State last year.
BYU. 100 yard. Yeah, 100 yard pick six.
And then, was it TCU?
I cannot remember.
No clue. But again, Billy Bowman just good athlete overall.
I mean, just like what
And-
he was saying. I mean, he has an eye out for the ball.
But
I mean,
I do have
if he's not getting the pick, he's forcing it, or he's making another play happen in the sense that makes another big impact on the game.
And we'll definitely miss him next year. But
And on that note, who do we think is going to step up into his position because Billy Bowman, again, senior, so this is his last year playing football at the University of Oklahoma, unless something tragic happens and he has to come back next year. But he's going to go to the NFL. So one of our younger guys, like right now, I believe Peyton Bowen, sophomore, and then we got RSJ, he's a junior. So
yeah, RSJ's probably my favorite.
What about Jacoby Johnson?
We'll get to that in a second. But RSJ, who's one of our other safeties, who's just played great throughout the season, has one of the highest PFF grades on the team.
I think is the highest.
The highest,
grade.
and so, I mean, why not go with him? Unless somehow Peyton Bowen just starts playing really well. I would say stick with RSJ right now.
Yeah, but who? Because right now Bowen's, I think, the backup to
Yeah,
RSJ. So who are we gonna have in that safety depth that can like come in and then make a play like Billy Bowman would?
I mean, there might be a freshman on the team that they can develop over, or there's always the transfer portal. Portal can always come in clutch,
Of course.
but there's never a guarantee.
I think Reggie Powers, I don't know. He hasn't, because he's a freshman.
Yeah.
So you haven't heard his name a lot, you guys. He's freshman. I think he plays safety / defensive back. He's played a couple games this year.
Seen some promising things. I think he played a little bit in the main game, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he played
Yeah,
a
and
little
he
bit.
also played at the beginning of the season. And honestly, like, I know we weren't doing this at the time, so I really wasn't watching that deep into the games. But when he was on the field, and it's small teams, but he looked great. He was hitting people hard.
He's all over the field.
Yeah, he's all over the field.
I mean,
just
that's all we
everywhere.
need. So I think Reggie Powers, that's his name. Sorry,
Yeah,
we
Reggie
had to.
Powers, RSJ, one of those two guys, and then Peyton Bowen. He'll be here, so he can be on the field when we need him. And then I'd like to talk about what's his name, Dominic Williams. He had the highest PFF grade in the game last night. He had a forced fumble, which we didn't recover, but it seemed like every time we run up the middle, he's there. He's hitting the guy. Every time they ran the ball up the middle.
Yeah, Dominic Williams is probably one of our. That was our TCU transfer.
Yeah, I think he was one of the highest graded transfers last year for defensive.
Yes.
wise.
That was probably one of my favorite pickups that we got in the portal.
Yes, he has-
Whenever I saw, because I mean, at that point we had played against TCU at that point, and we saw that he was definitely getting some pressures in that game.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, just seeing how highly sought out he was, and that we were able to get him, that just made my hopes go up with how our defense was supposed to look. I mean, from what we've seen, it has definitely been what we had expected, but then our offense wasn't where it was at.
Of course.
And as a defense tackle, I mean, you don't hear about him much, but because like the announcers won't say much about him, but they do more than you think they do. When there's a great defensive lineman, they do more than you think they do because you just don't hear him that much. They can make the running back change routes and Danny Stutzman get the tackle. But they don't mention the defensive lineman when that happens because
He's like a Billy Bowman on the line. He almost always knows where the ball will be at. So even if he's not getting to the guy with the ball, he's at least making it to where the guy with the ball only has one way to go where he knows his backup will be at.
Yeah, he. That's why they call it. It's a battle in the trenches.
Yeah.
Like nobody knows about the trenches, but those trenches are like game deciders. Like
They're-
kind of like this game. Most of the game was decided on who can get to the quarterback and who can cause that turnover that can put the game out of hand.
Another thing that was very good this game, I would say, is we had 18 pressures this game, which is 60% of the snaps on when the quarterback dropped back, which can change a game completely defensive-wise. It can make the quarterback scramble, and when a quarterback scrambles, anything can happen. I mean, he can run for 20 yards if he gets open, but also he can panic and throw an interception, which didn't happen, but with a third-string quarterback in, pressures are very important. Now, I would say their third string, Pine, he did a decent job.
He also started at Notre Dame in 2022, so he had experience.
Yeah.
If you were listening to the announcers throughout the game, which was pretty hard because they're pretty annoying.
Yeah, SEC network is not the best place to watch the game, but that's our only choice.
Yeah,
it was literally terrible. Like I told Hasty to mute it at one point because I couldn't deal with it. And so what Missouri did was they took film from Pine's starting year at Notre Dame, and they analyzed it, and that's how they built their offense around for this game specifically. It was from their kind of like the Notre Dame playbook, but obviously they're using Missouri's playbook because it's Missouri's playbook and they've been using that, but they were trying to figure out what's best for him and what works. And so unfortunately that Drinkwitz figured us out, and he kind of disrespected Bob Stoops in sorts, but
yeah.
All right, so I'd like to talk about their last drive of the game where they went down and tied it up. So if you'd like to play it, I'd like to say, why are we playing prevent defense when we had 60% pressures this game, where we should have rushed him and made him panic, like I was saying, anything can happen. Yeah, and go back a little bit. I was gonna get there. And then why Jacoby Johnson is in, but
pause it right there.
Yeah, right there.
What the actual heck is going on right here?
I think there was ghosts on the field, making him trip, and also Arnold losing the ball.
And I feel so bad because Jacoby doesn't get in that often. But whenever he goes, my man is already tripping. The turf monster has got him. He's going under. He's looking up like, Dad, I'm sorry I threw up. Something. There is something going on that he's looking and he's like, I effed up.
Yeah, he's like,
and I just don't understand.
There goes my playing time.
I don't understand how we got to this point. I mean, there was another view where it was kind of lower. I think it was one of the guys on the sideline in the back of Missouri's end zone that it was zoomed in on it. And I just didn't see anything in the fact of him if he twisted a knee, did he twist his ankle? Did he just slip? I didn't see anything. It just looked like my dude just went, I don't.
Sniper. Also, Jacoby Johnson, he was moved to a wide receiver earlier this season.
Yeah.
As some of us may know. And it's just, now all of a sudden, we see him in the fourth quarter of this game. And without telling anybody he went back to defense.
Yeah, he played throughout the game on defense because, I went against him in high school. He was a good receiver, but he's not a D1 receiver like this. On defense, though, he was really, 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 really good at defense in high school. And that's why he got the offer to play defense in college. I just don't understand that he was in for corner when he went there. Mm-hmm. But then they switched him to more of a corner / safety. He plays more safety than corner. Yeah. But I just don't understand, kind of like what you were saying, on why did we switch up a quarterback who we had been pressuring so much that game and it was working, to then we only rushed, I think we rushed four guys.
I think it was 3.
3 or 4, I don't remember. We only rushed a couple of guys and we dropped everyone back and it still didn't work. If we would have at least had pressure, Drew, you could see whenever he got pressured, he wanted to run the ball.
Oh, yeah.
He wanted to run it, and it wasn't working that often. But whenever he would only gain a couple of yards.
That's what I'm saying. When you pressure a quarterback, any quarterback, they're gonna freak out sometimes. Especially ones like this one where he didn't play much this season. He's a backup. He came in later in the season because of a starter's injury. Mm-hmm. So, anything, you never know. Anything can happen. When you give him time, he's started in past years, so he can deliver a good pass at any time as long as you give him time.
Because if Jacoby didn't fall there, that's a breakup.
Yeah, interception, breakup, and I don't believe they score there. And then they throw it to Theo Weiss, who's 6'3", while Eli Bone, who's 5'10", on him. which he had good coverage. Just
He played the, like kind of
You're
like what you
5'11".
said.
Yeah.
Like you said. I mean, you played the best defense that you could in that moment. I mean, the quarterback threw, like you said, a perfect ball for the dude who's 6'3" and who can jump out the room.
Yep.
Or our guy who was 5'11", who's up to here on him, and just jumped up. And you're basically just kind of hoping for the best. You're hoping that he made a bad ball, he knocked it, something like that.
and also
But
he's
I mean,
a freshman.
And I mean,
So-
he made the best possible throw that you could throw, because if that ball was a little more inside, a little more outside, he's probably able to force him out a little more, tackle him, kind of pick him up, and just
Like jiggle a little bit.
just kind of move him out of bounds or something like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, you kind of have to give Theo Weiss props for that catch. I mean,
I will never give Theo Weiss props.
I kind of have to, just because in the sense of that was a great catch.
Yeah, good throw too.
He was out of bounds, and he was able to extend his leg like a little ballerina and just drag his toe right on inside. I mean, I got to give it to him. It was a great catch, but then at the end of the day, I mean, he wouldn't be where he is at right now if it wasn't for OU football.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that like he would not have been anything. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that he gained the popularity that he deserved when he was at OU, and now he's taking control of that, and he was putting it out to us like we were the bad people.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, if you want to actually look at it, Missouri's the bad people here because they bought 2 of our players to go play for them.
That's facts.
Yeah, like Caden Green on the offensive
if you
line.
want to go out, if you want to go make money while you're in college, which is a new thing now, then go ahead and go do that. But I mean, we've seen how OU works. They do family and commitment, and then we will start giving you some stuff. Then we will start talking about NIL deals, talking about getting you in the verge of making money when you're in college. But that we don't just, for at least from what I've seen, it doesn't seem like we just throw money at guys.
Correct.
We want guys to get commitment from the family and the history and the story that we have here, other than just throw $1 million signing bonus at them to go play college. Like, I mean, I don't think that happened to Ryan Williams, but I mean, I wouldn't say that it didn't happen. I mean, he's a great wide receiver, but he was 17 years old. Who knows? Maybe he got just $2 million handed up front. I mean,
I'd give him $2 million.
You see
Yeah,
the
right
chains
now, yeah.
that dude's wearing. It's more than I'm worth.
Hey,
like
here,
if my body
here.
gets sold off, that's probably half of what
Here,
are you
Ryan
pulling
Williams,
out?
take out all my money. Here you go.
Okay, did you really have that in your pocket just to flex on us?
It's all $1 bills. Don't worry.
Are you joking? I don't want you, poor man.
I think we should start throwing those at Zach Schmidt.
Yeah.
Honestly,
TBH.
after that kick, I would. I mean, it was the only good thing
Yeah, let's
we
give
had.
him all our money.
So basically, beginning of the season, we had Tyler Keltner as our starter. We transferred from Florida State and won the starting job over Zach Schmidt to be our field goal kicker. And so I think 4 games into the season, 4 or 5, Tyler Keltner goes out, and I think he did something to his leg. He's been out for a while. So Zach Schmidt, after all the adversity that he's been through for the past 3 years of missing field goals and all that, how do you think he's stepped up into the role of starting, coming back from where he was being that lowly kicker that could barely make a 35-yarder to where he is now, where he's made every single field goal and made up of that attempt that he's had so far this season?
I mean, last year I had no faith. If 4th down and we're not inside the 20-yard line, I'm like, well, can we go for it? Please. And then also this year when he comes in and he starts, okay, he made a 35, early in the season. I don't know, exactly.
Yeah.
Made a 40. Okay, he's made improvements. And then he comes out here, why not give him a shot to make the, 56?
56-yard field goal. But I want to, if you want to keep going, I apologize.
No, it's just, and then he comes out and puts it in with 5-10 yards to spare. And sorry,
You're talking about field goals, right?
with 5 to 10 yards. Hey, he must have hit the gym this offseason. But
it just shows that he didn't let what happened affect him. I mean, it probably affected him mentally at some points, but I think it shows that he used it as fuel to get better. I mean, did I think whenever I saw a setup for a 56-yard and I saw who was out there, I mean, I basically turned around and was about to start playing Call of Duty on my PS5 because I was like, I'm going to hear a loud doink. It's going to hit one of the mascots. A lady's going to get hit.
It's not even going to reach the goalpost. That's what everyone thought.
I get hit the 20-yard line.
We need someone blowing fans on the other end just to get some extra wind.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
But I mean,
hey, no. Give him the credit he deserves.
And I mean, whenever he made it, And I mean, he drilled it right down the middle.
Right,
And
literally.
then the
smack
commentator
dab.
said, yeah, that probably would have been good from 60. I'm like, dude, that looked like that was good from like 64.
I don't think the commentator has ever watched an OU football game because clearly he did not know that Zach Schmidt would not be capable of that a year ago. And so, if you want to go ahead, we'll go with the fake punt here, just because we want to show that Bauer sharp 43-yard play. So if you want to go ahead and show everybody what we were talking about earlier with Luke Elzinga.
I did not see this coming at all. When I saw our guy start running, I thought it was some motion because I didn't even see the ball get snapped. I'm like, what is our punter doing?
I think it was just beautiful.
It worked out. I mean,
Look how happy Venables
That's the
is.
happiest I've seen Brent. And then after that, I don't think I saw him smile the rest of the game.
I don't blame him. I mean, the special teams was the only good part of the
That was
game
the only-
besides the defense.
I know we're not talking about we're off the offense, but why did we not see more Jake Roberts?
Because he's bad. Like he's actually
not that
He's
bad.
the worst statistically, like PFF everything. He is so slow. It's like you're like putting a snail out there and you're handing the ball and you're saying, like, just get at least a couple centimeters. I mean, he gets you a couple centimeters, but we want yards here.
Well, at least
But
he would have got negative yards on that sweep.
Didn't he have more receiving yards than Bowers at one point?
Nope.
He didn't?
Nope.
I thought he
Bauer
did.
Sharp was the starter.
Well, I knew he was the starter, but we were running a lot of 2 tight end sets.
Yeah, but Jake Roberts really, I mean, he got like a couple yards, but if you want to go ahead and play the Zach Schmidt, there's them
I need to do
blocking
my
right
research. I got cooked on that.
there. Yeah, just a little bit.
Sorry.
But there's first field goal.
Just with ease. Like,
Right
you
down
can
the
see
middle.
it. I mean,
40 yards.
He didn't even try.
Again, as us OU fans, most of us, if you don't know Zach Schmidt again, that a year ago would have been like his 60-yarder. Like, he
It's
just
us up and screaming and happy. Next thing you know, you're going to go get another shot of alcohol to get ready for it. Or you already had it next to you, so you can just put it in your eye so you don't have to watch it.
and then you can just go ahead and play this one. Why that?
It was just never close. But now it's
Right down the middle.
It's just consistent each time now, and it's just a lovely sight.
And then again, go ahead and go on to the next.
Which is very nice because with our offenses, I mean, 3 points is very nice to take.
right here. Everyone's sitting here like, there's
we're
no
still
way.
Like, oh, there's no way. Drilled it.
He hits
and-
the back of the net still. I
With
mean,
ease.
barely.
I mean,
But he still hit the net, which is like, again, 10
that's-
yards out.
I was going to say that's
That dude,
that's still
that guy
another
right
6 or 7
there,
yards.
he's probably like, holy crap, what did we watch? Like,
Do you think
what did we watch last year and see
you
him
think
not kick it?
anyone
And then he's just standing there like, holy
He's
holy
like, are
crap.
you
Like,
joking
no,
me?
No.
He's
what?
like, I'm the only one that watched film, and that is not true.
No, this got to be a different guy.
Theo Wish is like, wow, I didn't know it could go that far with this guy. It's like, what? Is that a shooting star? No,
Wait,
it's the football.
If that's Theo Weiss, then he's like, holy crap, where was this last year?
Lord.
Like, and
Do you think anyone had any bets going on? He'd be like, under 55 yarder for
Zach
him.
Schmidt longest
and then
under 25 and a half. It's like it had to be there.
It's like him to miss a shot was like probably like minus 99. It was like
there's a
probably
chance.
999. Like it was
Yeah,
like the
he hasn't
highest it
missed a
could
field
probably
goal.
go.
He has not missed a
I
field
know
goal this year.
and I'm here for it because I mean, as you can see, I mean, when we get to the red zone, at least ours is one of the high. They brought up a thing. It was like 28 for 34, 29 for 34 when we get into the red zone.
Just scoring
That's
points.
again,
Yeah.
when we get into the red zone. But still, it's one of the highest that is in the Division One. It's in the FBS.
Yeah.
One of the highest. But it's the fact is that half the time we can barely even get it past the halfway
50,
point
yeah.
just to get into their territory. I mean, it stinks, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean,
Zach Schmidt MVP.
if our defense can play like this and only get that, and our offense can give him a 55-yarder, I guess, and he can get 9 points, I'm taking it each and every day.
yeah, I mean,
Maybe I need to start putting money on him.
I think
Actually,
Zach
no, I
Schmidt,
shouldn't do that. My betting sucks.
Yeah,
He'll definitely start missing.
Very bad, both of us.
Just bet against
Don't tell my
and
parents I'm
hasty.
down a lot of money.
I don't bet, please.
But I believe Zach Schmidt wins MVP for this game solely based on
I'll give it to him.
adversity and performance. But
He was also
His-
the best kicker of the week.
he was
PFF
PFF
wise.
kicker of the week.
PFF, he was
a
there.
grade of 80 compared to every other kicker that was he was beat them by a wide
It was a
margin.
lot. It was a lot.
And I mean, he deserves it. Man deserves it. But Jackson, if you want to go ahead and
I would give him the reward, but I don't have it with me right now.
that's
so.
true. Yeah. If you want to go ahead and give us into our next topic here after the special teams.
We'll just go through it real quick. OU women's basketball beat Virginia 95-51 Friday night. Volleyball improves to 11-8 with Ole Miss this last week. And wrestling gets their first win of the season, 32-3 over Air Force.
With that there, we're going to go ahead and that was the show. If you would like, we have Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, you name it, whatever social media. Pawns on the Duck podcast. If you'd like to leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow the TikTok, follow the Instagram. We don't have Snapchat, but follow their Snapchats. And
It's not the same, but I guess you could find it some way or another.
or if you find Landen and Hasty on Tinder, that's you can go ahead and
I'm not on Tinder yet. Yet.
he's on Tinder by the time this episode comes out. So we'll go ahead, and my name is Caleb Shoemake.
Jaxon Hasty.
Landon Rope.
This is the Pawns on the Duck podcast, and we will see you next time. Have a good night.
Thank you, brother.
And hopefully with a win.
Nope.
Well, it's bye week.
It's not going to happen.
God, yeah, we're not putting that one out. Yeah, we're not putting that.